What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Scuba. Welcome to today's vlog. Today I'll be teaching you guys how to replace the power steering hose on an 05 Acura RSX Type-S. Not only will I be showing you how to replace it, I'll show you all the tools and parts that you need to get the job done efficiently, and I'll show you where to get them below. Check it out. Alright, so if your power steering pump is whining or hard to turn, the first thing you should do is check for a leak. The way how you check for a leak is to check the power steering reservoir. It's right here. All you gotta do is take the cap off, look down in there. It's kind of hard to focus, but there's levels on the side here. Take a look at it. If it's low, then chances are you probably have a leak somewhere. I would first go ahead, fill it up to the max, turn the steering wheel, see if you get that whine, or if you get, if it's hard to turn, if it stops and it's easier to turn, then chances are you have a leak somewhere and you'll have to address it at some point. On this particular car, there was a leak, and I'll show you guys exactly where it was. Is on this main power steering line here. Now this line goes from rubber to metal. Usually you're gonna get a leak on the rubber side, not really on the metal hard line. So I would check first this, I would check this line first just to see if you have a leak. Alright guys, so like I said, with this car in particular, it was a power steering hose leak. So I'm gonna show you guys how to take the power steering hose off, or the pressure line. Here we go. So the first thing that you wanna do when you take this hose off is, this car has an aftermarket intake, so we had to take the heat shield off, as well as a few other hoses right here, and we were able to get better access to it. The power steering hose we're going to be taking off is this one here with the sensor in it. This requires a flare nut wrench for this bolt right here. I'll give you guys a link below to get a flare nut wrench set. Go there, pick it up. It's easier to get the set than to have to start the job, then find out that you don't have the right size, and then have to put the car all back together, drive to the parts store, grab the right size, come back and test it out. So save yourself the time and the hassle, get the set. Like I said, that will be linked below. Then from there, once you undo that one, you can go ahead and start to loosen this sensor. This one just pops out. I already popped it out, so it's kind of already good to go. And we're gonna follow the line all the way around. The line actually leads right back to the pump. I've actually already unhooked it from the top of the pump. So this is the actual line that we're talking about, and it runs all the way through. And like I said, this is where the leak is on this one. And then it goes back through here, down back to the firewall. And there's another bolt right down there. I'll actually draw you guys a diagram. I don't know if you could see where I'm pointing to, but it's that bolt right there that we're gonna have to, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's right there. That's the bolt that we have to take off. Now to get to that bolt, you have to undo the heater hose to the left. It's right above, right over here. You see where it's dripping out of? There's a hose that goes right into that heater hose valve, or plastic valve, I think is what it is. You have to undo that one so that you can thread get the power steering line through, because it runs right back through there. Like I said, I'll draw you guys a diagram to show you better than I can show you on camera. So this rectangle here is the firewall. Okay, and the bracket that we're looking at, I'm gonna show you where it's at. So up against the firewall, you're gonna have two heater hoses. There's gonna be one on the top that's gonna come out, and it's gonna go to the side like this. It's gonna curve to the side to that heater valve right here, okay? And underneath that, there's gonna be another heater hose that's gonna run along the back of the motor past that heater valve. Now in between here, there's gonna be a bracket, okay? And behind this heater hose here, you're gonna see a small like rubber grommet. It's gonna be behind that heater hose, that top heater hose. And the bracket is gonna come off of that one, and it's gonna kind of run along the back of these two hoses, and then it's gonna come down around them like this, right? Like that. And then down right here on the bottom, below that bottom heater hose is gonna be where the bracket and the bolt are gonna be. So There's going to be the top heater hose, bottom heater hose. Right behind there, you'll see that black rubber grommet. The bracket's going to come down and curve behind them, and then the bolt is going to be right here. So the bolt's going to be right there. That's a 10mm bolt, okay? What I did to get a little bit more clearance to get to this bolt was I removed the top heater hose, both from the valve and from the point on the firewall. It's just 2 clamps. I used lockjaw pliers to get it off. Just pulled it off so I had more space, and I was able to move this heater hose up a little bit to be able to access this bolt here. It was still a little bit tight, so I just used a flathead wrench, an open-ended flathead wrench to get in there. I already unbolted the one for this bracket, so that one's already off. So 1, 2, and then we have a 10mm bolt right here for that bracket. And then as we swing around, the 19mm flare nut wrench for back here, this one here, okay, which some of them might be a 14, but this car was a 19mm. And then this sensor is actually a 19mm as well, I believe. I'll double check as I take it off. And then there's one more bracket here that needs to be taken off. So it's about 5 10mm bolts that need to be taken off. This sensor here and that flare nut, which is a 19mm on this car. This is what it looks like with the power steering line taken out. Right here you can see this is where it goes into the rack. On a Type-S, this is going to be a 19mm bolt. On a base model, this is going to be a 14mm bolt. I found out the hard way because I ordered the wrong line first, had to return it and get the new one. So just beware of that. On a Type-S, it's going to be a 19mm, and on a base model, it's going to be a 14mm. So this is the part number for the Type-S power steering pressure hose. See, it's 3401232. On a base model, it's just going to be a 1231. So that's a telltale sign if you have a Type-S power steering pressure hose or a base model. Like I said, Type-S is going to be 3.2 and a base model is going to be 3.1. Okay guys, so we have a side-by-side comparison of the old line versus the new line. I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to remove the brackets from the old line to replace them onto the new line. The reason why I recommend this specific line and this specific brand, here I'll show you really quickly in front of the camera, is because they have all the factory mounting points for the brackets. A lot of other aftermarket lines don't have these factory mounting points, so it's really good to be able to have something that replaces the OEM line and also fits just like the OEM line does. So I'll go ahead and show you guys how to replace them now. Okay, so with the brackets, they're metal brackets, but they literally just pry right apart. So you just put your finger in between, pry them off, and of course you want to make sure that both lines are the same way so that you don't put the bracket on upside down, because once it's in the car there's little room to maneuver, and if you do put them on upside down you'll have to probably take the line back out just to switch them around. So just line it up the first time and make sure that they go from one, swap it straight onto the other. And the only other thing that we need to replace is the sensor here. Literally just, this one was already broken loose, so I'll just take it out of the old one and thread it right into the new one. And then from there, there'll be one more bracket, one more metal bracket that goes right here. And we'll just take it off the old one, put it onto the new one. Alright guys, so I should mention that this line doesn't come with an O-ring, a replacement O-ring. There is one on the factory line, but you'll need to replace it with a new one. So I went ahead and replaced it with a O-ring on this one from a pack, from a universal pack. Link to that will also be in the description below. Alright guys, so we've replaced the power steering pressure line, or pressure hose. As you can see, we put the sensor back in. The sensor is a 19mm bolt, so you could just go ahead and use a 19 open-ended wrench and tighten that up. Brackets back in, and the flare nut right here, the 19mm flare nut for the Type-S, 14mm for the base model is back in. That one gave us a little bit of an issue, so I would definitely recommend threading or getting that to thread first. Be careful not to cross start it when you put it back in. So you just want to get that straight first. You might have to mess with the angle of the line just to get that to thread in correctly. Once you do, you could go ahead and route it back through. Can't really see here too well, but as you can see, it routes back through under that it routes under the heater valve over here. As you can see, it's the most silver line through there. I'm pointing directly at it now. Mounts right back on there, and we mounted back in the bracket on this side. It basically goes behind these two heater hoses here. There's a bracket that we took off as well, and then we just go right back around, and it mounts right back here to the pump. And after you're done with all of this, you're just gonna go ahead and pour power steering fluid back into the reservoir, and on the side there's the levels that tell you where you should be. You're gonna go straight to max, and then once you're done, you're gonna start the car, turn the wheel side to side, and all the air bubbles and air pockets will come out through the reservoir. Just keep an eye on the level. If it goes down, that's just because it's going through the system. You could just fill it right back up to the max. And also, because we took the heater hose off of this car, we're gonna have to bleed the cooling system as well. On the RSX, all you do is undo the radiator cap before you start the car, and there's a special funnel. The link is also going to be in the description that will help you to bleed this within minutes. So we're going to pull it off. I'm going to show you guys how to do it right now. So we've gone ahead and put the intake system back on. Of course, we're going to check for leaks from the power steering line still, and also for any coolant leaks since we disconnected the heater hose. The power steering reservoir is filled, and we also put some coolant into the overflow tank for the radiator. This is the funnel that I was telling you guys about. This thing saves you a lot of time and hassle. What you basically do is it comes with different adapters for radiator caps, and this is how we're gonna bleed the system. So what we do is we pour the coolant into here, and as we're gonna start the car, turn the heat all the way on while we turn the steering wheel to bleed the power steering system. We're at the same time gonna bleed the cooling system. So basically what we're gonna do is this it comes with a stopper, and I'll explain what the stopper does. So let's take the stopper out for now. Basically we're gonna pour coolant into this funnel here with that adapter for the radiator cap still on, and we're gonna see if we have any air in the system. You're gonna see bubbles coming out through the top of the excess coolant that is in this funnel. So you're going to fill it up with just a little bit of excess. You're going to see the bubbles start popping up if there's air in the system. We're going to let the car cycle and let the fans kick on twice while we have the system set all the way to hot inside the car. So we're going to set the AC all the way to hot so it runs through all of the lines in the whole system. And once it's done cycling twice, we shouldn't have any more air bubbles in here. We'll go ahead and plug this with the stopper so that any excess coolant that's in here won't be wasting. We'll go ahead, pop it off, and we put it right back into the bottle, or dispose of it if you'd like. Alright guys, so check it out. You're going to see the bubbles start to come through. We have the blower motor set all the way to high, and the heat is all the way on in the car. We're also leaving the revs at about 2,000 RPM just to get the car to heat up faster. Guys, like I said, I'm giving you guys all the tools to get this job done efficiently in the easiest way possible. Link to this funnel is in the description below. Go ahead, pick one up if you'd like to. It makes the job so much easier. The spill-proof funnel kit, it saves a lot of time when bleeding the system. As you can see, it comes with all the adapters that you need for different applications, and I use this on the RSX to bleed the system, and it saved so much time. We started the car, put the heat all the way to the max, and we set the blower motor all the way to the max as well. Revved it to about 1500 RPM, left it there for a little while, let the fan cycle, and we actually saw air bubbles coming up through the funnel. That means that there was a lot of air in the system. Once it was all good and all the air was out, the heat started actually blowing through the vents inside. That's how you're able to tell that all the air is out of the system. We literally did this in a matter of minutes. I actually did this same process on the S2000. The process is a little bit different. That process took a little bit longer. This made it so much easier. This funnel was a godsend. Guys, so finally we're done with the install on the 05 Acura RSX Type-S power steering hose. I hope you guys learned something today, and I hope I at least helped one person with this install. If I did, then this video is a success. And like I said, everything that you need to complete this job is in the description below. So go ahead and check that out after you've watched this video. As always, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to smack that thumbs up button one time for you boy, and subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this one. Till next time, peace.